Welcome to Freelance Sucks. Here we discuss the dark side of freelancing about which nobody usually talks out loud. In this show, we speak with experienced freelancers, and I'm sure listening to their stories helps you prepare for freelancers' challenges. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works, and my guest is Dunja Reiber, an experienced content professional who loves writing, creating content strategies, covering complex topics, and totally passionate about remote work and new work. So, welcome, Dunya.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the conversation about the dark side of freelancing.
Dark side, like dark, the darker side. So, and let's start with the darkest question. For you, as a freelancer, what is the most challenging part?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think something I've been struggling with is saying no to things and resisting this desire to always work more to make more money. Because as a freelancer, it's very simple in many cases. If you do more, you get paid more. And yeah, that's something I didn't know from my life before when I just had a regular job when I was an employee. I always got the same paycheck each month, except when I was able to negotiate a raise. But yeah, now it's really different. So I've been a freelancer for, let me think, 2 years now. Um, and yeah, at the beginning, I was always thinking, okay, I need to do more. And I need to, if I was offered a new project, I thought, okay, I have to do it too. And I have to make the clients happy. And yeah, I think that's really tough. But I think that's true for a lot of people who start freelancing. Maybe you can share from your experience in hosting this podcast. Have other people mentioned this too?
Yeah, I remember Dimitri told about saying no and like being afraid of missing out on an opportunity because as
Yeah,
a freelancer, mostly as a beginner freelancer, you have this fear that what if I will have no projects anymore?
exactly. Yeah.
And there is a question for you. How did you learn? How did you learn to say no?
Yeah. It comes a bit with experience as well. So if you do it once or twice, then it gets easier, of course. For me, I had one project in my first year of freelancing, where I knew the person who reached out to me from before, and they asked me to get on board as a freelancer to write content for them. And it was a software company and a very technical product. So sometimes if you write for software companies, the topics might actually not be that technical because it's more about if you have, for example, a project management software, you might write about project management topics in general
Yeah.
and why it's great to have a software to help you with that, or maybe what you can do with it. But this was a very specific topic, and they wanted to create a white paper that was very technical, like a step-by-step guide for setting up this system. And I was like, okay, I can try. So I got a lot of input from them, and my task was to create the white paper based on that. And it was just really hard for me because I didn't really understand the product, and I also didn't really have the option to try it out. And yeah, it was just I wasn't really happy with it. I had to force myself to get to work on it. And yeah, I think the result in the end was okay because it was based on their input, but it was just so much work for me and I wasn't happy. And then at some point after that, I just decided to quit working for them and told them that it's just not a good fit on the topic side. I liked them personally, it was all good, but it wasn't the best fit. And yeah, I had to be honest to myself and to them, and yeah, they took it well. And that's, I think, how I learned that yeah, nothing bad happens, it's okay, they will understand. And you can also quit after you've started working for them. So the white paper was one thing, but I was also involved in blog post creation. And it's okay. So of course, it's not nice to abandon the client in the middle of a white paper, for example. I didn't do that, but it's okay to say it's not a good fit. I'm out.
How did you feel when you said them no?
I think before that I was really, yeah, nervous and I didn't want to disappoint them. But during the conversation, it was completely fine, and after that, I felt very relieved. So it was a good decision to do it.
Yeah, I totally hear you because sometimes I also doing something I don't really like and it's so hard, like, again, I have to do it. But the moment you say no, it's like,
Mhm.
oh my God, it's the best decision in my life.
Yeah, totally. And I think it can help to put yourself in the position of the other person too, and think, what would I want from, yeah, from me or from the other person? I would want them to be honest with me. I would want them to, yeah, not say no, not say yes if they actually want to say no, or
Yeah,
not to take on a project that is not a good fit for them. So if you realize that, then it's also it helps a lot, I think, to make the decision.
totally. So, for you as a freelancer, what is the most time-consuming thing you must deal with?
Yes, I think it's all the admin work. It's still okay. I can imagine other freelancers maybe have a lot more of that because they have a lot more short-term projects and a lot of different clients. Maybe when they only do small stuff for them and then they have to write 10 invoices each month. For me, it's a bit easier, but still, um, yeah, of course, most time I spend on the actual work, so that's all good. But always when the month changes, so at the end of one month or at the beginning of the next one, of course, I have some tasks to do, like writing invoices and yeah, having the taxes, getting everything ready for them. So that's a bit annoying. That's something you don't have to do when you have a regular job. You're an employee. You can just focus on your actual work. And as a freelancer, you always have this second part that you have to take care of everything admin. Yeah. And then sometimes in the year, then there's even more when you have to do the tax declaration and so on. Yeah. So that's definitely something I would like to have less of.
Do you do it by yourself?
Yeah, on the monthly basis, yes, but for the annual thing, I have a tax advisor because I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. I do everything correctly, and also some things that you can, yeah, some business expenses that you have, for example.
Mhm.
I by myself, I wouldn't be sure if I can use everything in my tax declaration, so I want to have a second person, an expert to make sure everything's correct. But yes, on the monthly basis, it wouldn't really be enough to outsource it, I think. So it's
Mhm.
maybe 2 or 3 hours then. So I don't think it would be worth it at the moment.
Did you have a tax advisor from the beginning of your freelancing journey?
Yes, yes, because I so for me it was a bit different because I became a freelancer after the startup I worked for went bankrupt and didn't have a new funding round. So I was unemployed for a few weeks and decided then to become a freelancer. And
Mm.
in Germany, you have a thing called Gründungszuschuss, which is from the employment agency. If you decide to yeah, to set up your own business, you can apply for a grant that you get some support for your
Mm.
business. And I wanted to do that because I thought it's a nice opportunity to use it. And I also got it in the end, but you need a tax advisor or some other financial expert to validate your business plan.
Mm.
And that's why I needed someone right away. And then I just yeah, stayed with them and used them as a tax advisor.
Cool. Sounds great. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah, I think it's helpful, really. But of course, it only works when you when you lose your job, right? So if you just say I want to quit my job, then you have a different status. It's not like so you don't get this. I don't know how it's called in English actually, but you don't get the support immediately from the agency. So yeah, it's just. But for people who maybe lose their job or they have a temporary contract, for example, and that ends, and then they want to become a freelancer and they are in Germany, then they can try that. I can definitely recommend it.
Got it. So what is the most nerve-consuming thing you must deal with as a freelancer?
I think I'm really lucky. I don't have any annoying bad clients, but I can imagine that for many freelancers, that's the most annoying thing that costs them a lot of nerve and just stresses them out. But for me, it's really nice. I just have great clients, so I can't complain there. Sometimes what's a bit annoying for me is that you don't have any paid vacation or sick leave. Because it's if I want to take a longer vacation, like 2 or 3 weeks, then automatically this month is just much lower in income than another month or a regular month would be. And my husband, for example, is an employee in a company, and he just gets the same paycheck every month. And sometimes I think, that's just so much easier. And for me, it's like, if we want to do a longer vacation, then I have to consider that in advance. And just to take care that the income, stays at a level that it's still okay. And also for sick leave. Also lucky that I don't really get sick easily, but maybe if I was an employee, I would sometimes say, okay, I don't feel so good today. Let me take a day of sick leave, just to be fit sooner. And just to, maybe if you have a headache or something, would just take half a day off and say I'm sick. And if it depends on your actual work, how much money you get, then you think twice or even 3 times about it. If you really want to go to bed for a day and sleep, that's something that's a bit annoying, but it's also something you can learn, that you say it's okay, right? So as a freelancer, you often make more money than the average employee. So it's okay if you have 1 or 2 months a year when you don't have that much money because you go to vacation. And it's also okay if you are sick for 1 or 2 days, then you are more rested. Your results will be better again after you took some time to rest. So it's just something you have to get used to.
It sounds to me that it's good to be a healthy freelancer.
Yes, I think so. Who doesn't like to go on vacation? But
exactly. Like workaholic, healthy freelancer. Is that even possible?
I don't know.
And do you ever feel professional loneliness?
No, not really, actually. Because my husband and I both work from home. And so it's almost like having a colleague around you all the time. You can meet for coffee in the kitchen, you can have lunch together and so on. So that's really nice. And I always have a good collaboration with my clients. So for example, I'm also in Slack connected to them. It's not only maybe for some freelancers, they get a task at the beginning of the month and then they do it and then they submit it and that's it. But I'm always in contact with my clients and with several people on the client side, which is really nice and really helpful. So no, I don't think so.
And how do you learn?
That's also a good question. So I like to go to conferences, maybe once or twice a year. For example, in Hamburg, there's OMR Festival, or last year I attended Web Summit in Lisbon. And that's always very inspiring, just interesting to listen to different talks and to learn about maybe new tools or about how other people do things to connect with people. So that's definitely a great way. I would like to maybe dedicate a bit more time to actual learning. So maybe to courses or programs. I did one course called the Power MBA, which is like an MBA in a digital format. And of course, it's not an official MBA, but it covers all these business topics, marketing topics, financial topics that are important for founders, for example. And I did it also to understand companies on a better level, right? Because it's for writing for me, I know how to do that, but it's also important if I want to support companies in their marketing, in their strategies, that I know how companies work. Mainly smaller companies, startups, because that's who I mainly work with. That's really good. It's just really helpful to see what different stages are there, what different team sizes and dynamics, and what is important at what stage. So that was really nice.
So you kind of speak the one language with them.
Yes, exactly. I understand what they need, and I don't only have my content perspective, but also a broader perspective of what's going on in the company.
Yeah. If your friend wanted to become a freelancer, what are top 3 things you'd advise them to consider before doing that?
So one thing is to really learn about all the admin stuff and taxes and insurance and so on. So to just take some time, because it's not like you have this one resource that tells you everything. It's more like, for insurance, you have to have a different area you have to check. It's like you have to go to your insurance company and make sure, to decide if you want to have a private health insurance, for example, or not. And then you have the taxes, tax office, and you have to register your business and so on. So that you just make sure you don't forget anything. That's just important. But if you start doing research, then it's not even that hard. So you just need to take some time. Then to be clear about how you want to work and what you want to offer. So this whole positioning thing is really important, I think. That you know what is your core thing that you are good at and that you want to do for clients. And then everything is built on that, I think. And to be sure how you want to work. Do you want to have 2 or 3 clients you work for long term, or do you want to have more of this project-based approach that you do something for a month and then it's done and you never hear from the client again and then you move on? And based on that, maybe the third thing, how you want to find clients, what kind of marketing do you want to do? If you have just a few long-term clients, you don't have to put that much effort in marketing, maybe. Then if you just need one gig after the next and you need some kind of pipeline to be filled. So to always be a bit strategic at the beginning and not just start. But on the other hand, if that's your personality, you can also just jump in and learn from that. That's also fine.
Yeah. Like in Sparta, yes, you just go to the ocean, and if you survive, you survive.
Yeah, that's also possible. So that my advice was more for people who want to do it like me, maybe. But,
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to. It's okay.
You never know. Yeah, Dunja, I wish to have the sky's the limit, but time is the limit. So the final question: if you were starting freelancing today, what is one thing you would have done differently?
Yes. So I think, as I mentioned with the example of the company I work for with the very technical product, I would have like to be more clear on what projects I want to do, what topics I want to cover really early on, and be strong enough to say no if I realize that it's not the perfect fit.
Got it. Dunja, thank you very much for sharing your challenges and so being so
Thank
openly
you.
open.
Thank you. It was really interesting, and yeah, sometimes it's also good. Yeah, I felt it was good for me too to visit some of these areas and think about them and talk about them, because that's not something you do every day.
Totally. And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button or 5 stars and share it with your friends. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.